Emeka, my son, you will never succeed in life. The interview you went to, they won't employ you. So shall it be.
The room smelled of burnt herbs and old wood. No window, no light, just a single candle throwing crooked shadows across the walls. Mama Ngozi crouched over her black pot, her lips moving in a low, steady murmur as the water inside bubbled without fire beneath it. "Emeka," she whispered, stirring with a crooked finger. "They will not take you. You will walk out of there with nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing." She laughed softly to herself, the kind of laugh that had no joy in it, and sat back on her stool. Hours later, the door opened. Emeka stepped in, his tie loosened, his shoulders carrying the weight of a man twice his age. "They didn't take me, Mama." His voice was flat. "Everything was going fine, then one thing led to another, and they just told me to go, just like that." Mama Ngozi pressed her hand to her chest. These wicked people." She rose and pulled him close. "My son, don't worry. Go and eat your food, rest well. Another one will come. God is not sleeping." Emeka nodded and dragged himself to the kitchen. 3 months later, a logistics company called him for a position. He ironed his shirt the night before, polished his shoes until he could see his face in them. That morning, Mama Ngozi served him tea, her back turned as she poured. Before he left, she pressed her palm briefly to the back of his jacket. Just a touch, quick and quiet. He got there, the interview went smoothly, the manager smiled, shook his hand. Then one of the office staff began behaving strangely, accusing Emeka loudly of brushing against her inappropriately in the hallway. There had been no hallway. Emeka was confused. He was asked to leave. He came home, sat in a chair, and said nothing for a long time. Mama Ngozi brought him food. "Eat, my son. Wicked people are everywhere." 6 months after that, a family friend connected him to a construction firm that needed a site supervisor. The pay was good, the manager liked him immediately. On his second day of assessment, his documents went missing from the manager's desk. Documents Emeka had submitted perfectly. Without them, they said they couldn't proceed. No documents, no job. Emeka searched his bag, his room, everywhere. He never found them. Mama Ngozi shook her head and said, "These people are not serious. You deserve better." 4 years passed this way. 4 years of almost, nearly, not quite. Emeka began to feel it in his bones. Something was wrong with him. Something invisible and heavy that followed him into every room, every interview, every handshake. He stopped ironing his shirts with excitement. He stopped polishing his shoes at all. Then came the last interview. A reputable firm downtown. He told no one, not even his mother. He went quietly, answered every question well, felt the familiar flicker of hope. The rejection letter came by email before he even reached the bus stop. Emeka did not go home. He walked until his legs were tired, then sat under a tree at the edge of a quiet street and wept. Deep, shaking sobs that he had been holding for 4 years. He was not ashamed. There was no one to see him. Except there was. "Excuse me." A young woman stood a few feet away, her voice gentle. "Are you okay?" She sat beside him on the grass and listened as everything poured out of him. The jobs, the years, the feeling of being cursed, of being chased by something he could not name. When he finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Come with me to church on Tuesday. Evening fellowship. My pastor, he sees things. He has helped people like you before." Emeka almost said no, but a man with nothing left to lose has no reason to refuse anything. He nodded. Tuesday came. Emeka was dressed and ready by 5 o'clock. Then Mama Ngozi appeared from her room, holding her chest, groaning that her heart was paining her, that she needed water, that she felt faint. He brought the water. She recovered quickly, but then remembered she hadn't eaten since morning and her sugar was low. Could he please warm the soup? He warmed it. Then the gas finished halfway, and he had to run to the neighbors. By the time he returned, she had spilled the soup and needed help cleaning it. When he finally reached the door, she called after him that she had a terrible feeling that something bad would happen to him outside tonight. that a mother's instinct was never wrong and he should just stay home. Emeka looked at her for a long moment. Then he stepped outside and kept walking. The church was small but warm. The pastor, a calm man with quiet eyes, shook Emeka's hand and said nothing unusual at first. They prayed together with the small Tuesday crowd. Then the pastor stopped, turned to Emeka directly and said, "Your problem is not the company's. It is not bad luck. It is coming from inside your own house. A woman who claims to love you does not want you to rise, because if you rise, you will leave, and she cannot bear that." Emeka's mouth went dry. "It is your mother." The pastor followed him home that same night, Adaeze beside them. Mama Ngozi opened the door and her face changed, just for a second, a flash of something ancient and afraid, before she rearranged it into a smile. The pastor prayed, loudly, firmly, without stopping. He went into every corner of the house. When he reached the back room, Mama Ngozi screamed for them to get out. They did not get out. When it was over, she sat on the floor and wept the way mothers weep when they have been caught. 3 weeks later, Emeka got a call from the last company that had rejected him. They said there had been an error in their process. They wanted him to resume the following Monday. He ironed his shirt the night before. He polished his shoes until he could see his face in them.